Welcome back to all of you AI and Future podcasters. I'm your host, Adim Mazolkalio, product design and AI expert, and the creator of an online leaders program called Unlocking the Power of Generative AI. And today we're diving into an exciting world of AI powered marketing with a true innovator. Joining us is a successful AI entrepreneur who has built a cutting edge AI marketing product startup. We'll be exploring the future of marketing in the age of AI, the transformative impact on businesses, and valuable tips for creating successful AI products. Get ready for an insightful conversation packed with actionable advice and inspiring stories from front lines of AI innovation. Hey, I'm so happy to see you, Naama.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So Naama Manova-Twito is the co-founder and CEO at marketing.ai. And I'm sure it's going to be really, really exciting and interesting. We're live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and is so invited to join the discussion and ask questions.
Please
And now
do.
we can start. What inspired your marketing startup to start with AI and solve problems with AI?
Well, I've been a marketer for, well, a gazillion years. So I came from very old school marketing. Yeah, over 24 years.
Wow.
Um, and marketing back in the day was really easy. I mean, if you had a good hunch, some intuition, and a bit of a budget, you could get your brand out there. And then marketing got complicated and complicated and complicated and got dominated by youngsters, right? Who know digital and social. And they have like the whole new marketing world for people like me was very hard to grasp. So it took me forever to make the transition. And the more experienced a marketer you are, the more expensive you get, right? So the
Sure.
ones who need that wide breadth of capabilities. So being able to have like a single point of content when it comes to marketing and doing everything from planning to strategy to creation, execution, that costs a lot of money even before you start advertising, before you start buying media. And I figured that for small and medium businesses, that's part of the problem. So it doesn't matter how great of a marketer you are, if they can't execute on what you're planning for them, then you're a liability. And
Right.
and we brought together a bunch of very, very forward-looking marketing experts and an incredible team of AI experts, and we're trying to figure out how can we seamlessly build a team which is hybrid. Part of it is AI minds, part of it is marketing minds that together encompass something a lot more affordable for small and medium businesses, yet still with a high level of expertise. And that's what we came up with.
Yeah. So if you did not visit marketing.ai, I would say that you have these like personas that each one of the team members are like an avatar or a person that you talk to, an AI person that you talk to. And I think that it's very special because most people, when they think about a marketing tool, whatever, they think about, okay, so now I'm going to do all the work instead of some paying someone, and I would do it probably not as good because I don't have the understanding, the expertise, the knowledge of somebody who's doing that as a profession. And what you took is like, we have these experts you could talk to or you could consult. And I think it's a very important point in the way that you perceive your product and the way that people would relate to the product, right?
Well, I thank you, first of all. Yes, the thing is that we don't walk around the office prompting people, right? So prompting isn't a very natural way to communicate. And what we were trying to do is to mimic how marketing teams actually work. So whether you're working with an external agency or you have your own team or a few freelancers, then you have people who are expert in a specific part of marketing. So you have an SEO expert or a social media expert, or you're working with an email marketing expert. And rather than having you working with a platform, what we did is we trained small models, each an expert in its field, and we have them collaborating between themselves and between your human team. So it's just how marketers actually work. You go into a
Yeah.
meeting, you openly discuss, you brainstorm, you assign tasks, they assign tasks, things get done, and then you reconvene to evaluate how did it work? Is it working well? Did it hit the mark? If not, what can we change? And it's a much more natural way to work than the ping pong between you and a prompting aspect. Also, they actually do know marketing, so we've trained our own language model. We last week we launched the world's first large language model for marketing. So it's
Congrats.
thank you. Very exciting. Actually, it's a very huge achievement for our incredible team. I mean, a startup of 10 launching its foundation model. It's crazy.
Wow.
But it's actually, even on launch, it's about 14 times larger in marketing data sets that it's been trained on than any other model out there. So it's just on its own, it's better at performing marketing tasks. And now once we launch the agents, then you have an actual team to work with. It's like calling up your agency saying, hey, how about we do this and that? Or are they coming up with ideas and communicating them to you?
Yeah. And I think that the fact that you could like talk to these like professionals and think together is very important, because what you just mentioned, that you're starting from a strategy and point of view of the business, and in the end you're getting to the task and implementing what was decided upon. In many cases, when you need an expert, especially in marketing, I find that, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not only in marketing, but marketing and sales, I would say. Okay, in many cases you could find someone who's really good in strategy, who could tell you, okay, this is the way you're going forward, that's like the map going forward with your business. Or you could find someone who would do the campaign. But
Exactly.
in many cases, it's really hard to find someone, and maybe you could have these teams which are very expensive, I don't know, but to find someone who could go all the way from understanding your business, understanding where you want to get to, understanding your audience, understanding what are the goals you want to reach in this, like currently in your business, and then taking it forward to really implementing what was decided upon on the way, right?
Exactly that. You literally described the platform. So unlike just a normal interface with generative AI, you don't need to trigger it into action. So what happens is you onboard, it actually gets to know your brand, integrating into your different data channels. So it works for you. And then there are interactions, exactly what you mentioned. So let's do next week's planning. Now, some of the agents will go and create the content. After that, there's going to be some execution and then measurement. And it's just giving you, even like the best of marketers. As I said, when I started out, things were really easy. And then they became really complicated. So instead of 4 channels, we now have 40. Budgets haven't grown. So you just need more skills. And I personally don't know one single marketer who has everything taken into control, right? Under control. So no one can do strategy and email and every different social media channel and inbound and content and video. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And you need a lot of people in order to get it right. So what we're saying is, if you have a small team, it instantly gets superpowers. If you don't have a team at all, you'll get the basics done. If you're a junior marketer, you get the support of experts. And if you have a huge team, you get something that will enable you to be more productive, because you don't have to do the grind. That's what the agents are for. And you can sort of free yourself up to higher strategy, higher tactics, and doing things differently.
So, how do you think AI is fundamentally changing marketing and customer engagement?
Right. Well, AI is changing everything. I mean, it's the first time, I think it is another revolution, but I think it's the first revolution that sort of touches upon everyone in such a wide way. I think that all industries are going to be affected, are
Sure.
already affected.
Yeah.
Um, I think that if you look at it in like how you can personally make it beneficial for you, and I think everybody should. I mean, teachers should look at it, marketers should look at it, R&D people should look. Everybody should be looking at generative AI and how to integrate it into their daily lives. I'm happy to say that my kids are learning it in school. I mean, in middle school already, which is
Yeah.
incredible. Um, but I think that for marketers, if you are open to integrating technology into your daily lives, you'll find that you just become so much better, so much quicker, because especially with platforms like ours,
Just a minute.
no worries, which bring together domain expertise from the get-go, then, as I said, I mean, if I am a marketer who's very good at social media and running PPC campaigns, but I have no clue on how to start on email marketing. Now I do. Now I can get better at my job a lot quicker. Or even if it's not about our platform, you can create so many variations of content. You can make everything shorter. There are amazing startups, Israeli startups. It's a crazy ecosystem here in Israel that, you can take, for example, Peach, that you can take long form video content and automatically creates it for, cuts it up for different platforms. You can do so much quicker, and you don't have to rely on so many service providers.
Right. I think that's another thing that comes to my mind is the fact that in the past, it was in order to do marketing, you need to understand one or two or three domains. And as you mentioned, there are so many other options, but even prioritization,
Yeah.
like what is good for my business? Like I'm just thinking, like, I'm not a TikToker, right? It's like, it's not for me. Maybe I would find clients there, but I'm not, I don't think I am. But it's like, you need to decide what is really good for your brand. What do you want to do? What is good for your goals? What is like, what do you find that is good, not only for the marketing and for the results? Like, I feel that in many cases, like, what is like mainly said, you need to do more. Like, yeah, just do more.
Yeah, or have bigger budgets. That's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, just do more marketing. Just go to another platform. Just do it, more content. Just like, instead of like, is it a game of more? I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, yeah, I could do it. I could do more, but it's like, I feel that in many cases in marketing, the quality of what you're doing is like evaporating because you could do much more. And then you need someone who really would tell you, okay, this is the right strategy for you. This is the right content and the way that you want to be perceived, and then you go forward, right? So when you have these agents, it doesn't matter if it's a person, in your case it's an AI agent, that would really grasp the meaning of my brand and what I want to convey, where are my real customers are, right?
Exactly.
And it's really hard to know right now.
That's exactly the point. I mean, when we started out, it was a content game, right? Everybody can create content with generative AI, and you can create a ton of content. You can
Right.
create blogs and articles and ebooks and videos, but who tells you if this is what you're supposed to be doing, or what type of content you should be doing, or which channels you should be posting on? And when we were looking at the tech stack available for SMBs, or generally, there isn't one single platform that actually looks at your brand and says, wait a minute, let's figure out who are your competitors, what is your market looking like, who are your audiences, where should you be investing your efforts, and then let's try that out and be on top of the data and shift from one to another to make sure that we're getting everything right. There isn't a platform that does that. That's exactly where you need so many different experts. So if you today go I mean, you have great content creation tools out there, amazing ones, but you need to know what you need. You need to come with domain expertise. You need to know what to ask for. Then you need to choose. Then you need to post, measure, make conclusions. And it's just a lot, especially for smaller teams. So when you have the ability to, or the confidence that someone is actually looking at what's going to be best for your brand, not me. I mean, most of this industry is still sort of based on the more you spend as your agency, the more I make, right? So we're trying to even the playing field also in terms of marketing, so you can have the same skill set that trained marketers actually have, but also from the generative AI perspective, because the way that I use ChatGPT and the way that our head of AI uses ChatGPT, or my mother uses ChatGPT, is completely different. We each extract very different qualities from the LLMs, which means that, again, it's on me. So I need to have domain expertise. I need to know how to prompt in order to get something out of the models. And a lot of people don't. They don't know, they don't have the domain expertise, and they don't know how to prompt. So we were trying to sort of make it available across the board in a way that you don't need prior knowledge in order to work with our models. Our agents have that prior knowledge. Our agents have domain expertise. You just communicate with them, and together, let's figure it out.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about an AI startup. What would be the most important thing that you learned from being a CEO of an AI startup?
People, bring in the best people you can find. Um, you have to have passionate, professional people with you. It's a long ride, and you need to have an excellent team backing up every step of the way. I can also say that specifically in Israel, specifically during this, horrific time that we're all going through, the ecosystem here is incredible. I mean, if you actually look around, you'll find that there are people out there who've done great things and are there willing to guide you, mentor you, help you, connect you, network you. And if you actually look around, you'll find that there's so much support here. As a female entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur, as a startup, tech startup, you'll have so much support. Starting from things like NVIDIA initiatives that we have, or just the ecosystem mentors that are sort of there for us. I mean, it's really an incredible ecosystem. So just open your
Yeah.
eyes, learn how to ask for help when you need it, and surround yourself with the best people possible.
Yeah. So I've been part of the ecosystem of startups for so many years. And one of the things I really love is the fact that, because it's such a small place and the tech scene is even like a very, very, very small place, in the end, everybody knows everyone, right? So even if you're not really connected right now, you would work together somewhere. You would work on the same things somewhere else in the future. And this is very powerful for the startup scene in Israel because there is this like we're united in the same goal in the end. Because when I see one of my clients or even other startups succeeding, it's like I'm very proud, and I feel like yeah, they've done it. And when I go and mentor startups, I always try to find with them what would be the most important impact that they need right now. And in many cases, it's not only what is the product question or what is the UX question they could answer. In the many questions are like more just understanding the even in believing that you could do it, right? Even like just understanding what is the path. Like when I work with other startups, I could say, okay, they've done it this way, you've done it this way, and you learn from others. And the
Yes,
fact that you're not alone, it's very hard to be an entrepreneur. It's very hard.
it really,
And
it's very lonely. I can tell you that. If you're not smart enough to surround yourself with a great team and great people. And when you start off, I mean, you feel like it's going to be like this, right? I mean, you have a great
you
idea,
hope.
great technology, things are going to go so smooth. And then, everything happens. I mean, you're a startup, and then you're an Israeli startup, and then you're an Israeli startup during a war, and then you're raising funding during an Iranian attack on Israel, and people are asking about your business continuity plan. So things are really hectic, and very volatile. But when you do have that surrounding ecosystem, it makes everything different. And just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself even on your worst days. Believe in your team and ask for help.
Yeah. Do you think that an AI startup is different than a regular startup in the processes, in the talent you need, in the maybe the data, maybe, or you think the core is very, very similar?
Well, of course, it's different, especially with the fact that everything is AI now, right? Your toothbrush has AI in it, probably. So you have to have very, very strong core technology in order to sort of cut through the noise of what's going on right now. And I think that what we're trying to do is to drive back from the value chain. So what do we actually want to help people achieve, and then go back to how we do it, as not sort of, okay, this is our technology because we are AI and everything is AI, and now let's figure out who needs it. But sort of figuring out what hasn't been answered yet. I mean, we're in a battle of giants now, right? We have OpenAI, and we have Google, and we have Facebook. Like, everybody's doing something massive with AI, and with all that going on, finding what has not been answered yet, what you can do different, better for a specific, very specific audience. That's where we started, and that sort of reverse engineering into how we do it afterwards. But what first of all, why are we doing what we're doing? Why is
Yeah.
what currently the offering of the big giants or anyone else, why isn't it sufficient for, the SMB at the end of the tunnel?
Right. I think that what you're saying is one of the most important things for people who would do tech and entrepreneurs, especially because focusing on what is the value, who are the clients, what do they really need, the end customer, what is looking for. Like, this is the beginning, and AI is just another technology that could help. Yeah, you need to know what are their capacities. You need to be aware of the needs and the what you need to do in order to utilize it, of course. But it's not the main thing, especially because it's something everybody says. And when I talk to people here and interview them, and I created this online program for generative AI products, and it's for people who are just want to know what is the gap. Like, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm an innovation expert. How do I take it? And the main thing that I always say is, like, start with the product as an offer, as creating value.
Yeah,
Afterwards, you would understand what type of value you could create with generative AI, or what is the capacities that are different, or what is the team skills that you need. But if this is not clear enough,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. So it has no meaning. And it reminds me of something that you said. It's like, I started with, yeah, it's going to be really great, and then it was harder. So I heard an interview with I think his name is Janssen. What's the name of the NVIDIA
yeah.
founder? I
I
think
think
that's his name, right? So he said, like, that had he been a young person starting NVIDIA, he would never have been doing it. Like, it was so much harder than what he thought it would be. So much. So everybody's like saying, yeah, now it's like 20 times the price of the stock. It's like, yeah, but he's been there for dozens of years, right? So it just understanding that the way is really hard. Even if you, in the end, you see just the success, you see just the ta-da, and that's it. But it doesn't work this way at all. And I really appreciate the fact that like, in any way, when I talk to entrepreneurs, I see that the mental capacities are so important in order to build it. And when we're talking about AI, it seems like, yeah, it's magic. Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be done for me.
yeah, it's
It
not.
doesn't work this way.
Yeah,
Uh, you mentioned the expertise of these small models. And
yeah,
we said, like, there are like these huge models and they're very vast, but they don't have a specific expertise.
yeah,
And these niche models that are trained on a very specific type of data and a very specific task in their head. It's not like you cannot talk in all the languages and say everything, but you know how to do marketing. I think this we'll see more and more and more of these types of AI, because right now we have the foundational model, which are like, they could be very big and vast, but they're not precise, and sometimes they have hallucinations. They're not saying very precise things. And I
of,
guess that many people go to ChatGPT to do marketing right now, right?
of course. So people have like their prompt templates, and they're ping ponging with the chat, and sometimes they get angry at the chat, but they treat it sort of like a junior employee, right? Which is incredible. So the generalistic models are exactly that. They know a lot about a lot, but they're not experts in any particular field. So you have, and Microsoft issued an article about this at the end of last year, that we're going to see more small models which are experts in specific fields. And you see Bloomberg issued one for finance, which significantly outperformed the larger models when it comes to finance. You have Stanford with one for law. We have a few for medicine, a few for code. And we're the first ones to issue or to publish a large language model for the marketing domain. So it's significantly larger in the proprietary marketing data that it's been trained on. It's been trained only for marketing. So it won't help you with recipes. It won't write you code, but it's just better at doing marketing tasks because it has a lot more marketing knowledge in it. And we're going to see that going on across the board, because when you want, medical advice or specific, if something, your tooth is aching, you're not going to go to your family doctor, you're going to go to a dentist, right? So what we did is we have the marketing foundation model. And on top of that, we're training smaller models. So you have a model specifically for social media, because social media is complex. Facebook is different than Instagram different than TikTok different from LinkedIn. You need a lot of expertise just for that. And then you have SEO, which every day is changing, right? You have to have a model that can sort of adapt to change real quick.
Yeah, and we don't know about SEO. Like Google just integrated the AI into their search engine, and now it's all mixed. So it's very hard just to understand what is SEO right now.
It's hard for everyone. It's also hard for the AI to understand, but it can get it quicker. The only thing is that when you're generating content, let's say you're asking ChatGPT for blog ideas about your beauty brand, it will give you 10 ideas, and then another 10 and another 10, and then you pick one which seems interesting, and then you ask it to help you write the content. But it does so within the bubble of the amazing LLM, but it's not necessarily connected to anything that's going on right now. So your beauty brand, which now summer is approaching and people are looking for hydrating tips for, prior to makeup, the LLM won't necessarily know that. So our model works with external tools, connecting it to what actually people are looking for. So if our SEO model, it checks to see what are people looking for on Google right now? What are the newly ranking keywords? What can I write for my brand that's actually going to correlate with what people are interested in? And then she starts doing the research, and then she does the writing. So it's with all the best practices of SEO along the way, but it's a lot more for your brand, things that will probably work better than just creating a lot of content.
Right. So what has been the biggest hurdles in managing and growing marketing within a very competitive AI marketing landscape?
Well, I think that taking it day by day. That for me, I want to see, like, I'm an end game type of person, right? I want to run quick.
Yeah.
And
See results. I want to see results now.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that when the war started, I heard this story. I'm not sure I'm telling it correctly, about a boy and a fox, I think, that walk through the woods. And the boy says, "I can't see the way." And the fox asks, "Can you see your next step?" The boy says, "Yes." The fox says, "Okay, then take that." And I think that for startup life, that's the core. I mean, see clearly your 1, 2, 3 steps, take them, and then build from that, because you don't know what the end game is. Not because you're not a good entrepreneur. It's just that the market is so dynamic, and you have to interact with users in order to build something that they actually want. You can't envision everything from the beginning and then build the crazy product you dreamed of and hopefully people will use it. You have to iterate with the market. You have to iterate with users, understand what you're not doing well, fix it, iterate again. And that's sort of, now for me, that was a big challenge. And thankfully our tech team is more towards that sort of approach. So it enables us to issue and publish quick iterations with the market, let people use the product, come back with feedback. And then we learn from that a lot.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it's from a book about a boy and a fox and a mole and a horse.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I love this book. It's one of my favorite ones.
And I'm really fascinated because I think that when the war started, we all felt out of breath, personally, professionally. There was like, what are we going to do, right? And then the ecosystem here woke up very quickly. Within a week, there were so many initiatives from Iron Nation and Safe Dome and the Israel Innovation Authority. And there were so many things as an entrepreneur that you could sort of reach out and ask for help. And you were in motion. So you didn't know what's going to work eventually. But when you're in motion, you have hope and you can move forward. But that's when I embraced that sentence. I don't know what's going to happen a year from now. I know that within 3 months, this is where I can be. That's where I'm going to shoot for now.
Yeah. And another thing, when you're managing a product, it's there are so many unknowns. So you don't know exactly what would be. You're building something. The quality is as you want, and the need is as you want it, and the audience is ready for it, and the competitors are not doing something very similar or not. So there's so many unknowns, and what you could do is just to try to have your best shot and just do it. And sometimes you're getting the best result from the beginning, and in most cases you fix it afterwards.
Exactly.
But
Fast.
without starting, it's like
It's
it,
really funny to see that users use your product completely differently than you thought they would. And that's
yeah.
very, I mean, if you listen to that, it makes it easier to build better products fast.
Yeah, I think that right now when we're talking about, I think my previous guest was about like analytics from users, getting feedback from users with AI, and currently when you're seeing the analytics, it's only numbers. It's like the quantitative numbers of like who clicked what, but it's much more important, especially when you're starting something new, a new feature, a new product does matter, is really understanding what they're looking for. What
Exactly.
is something that what are the reasons and why are they doing that? And you cannot do that from the numbers. You have to
Exactly.
talk to them and see exactly what they're doing. And maybe sometimes in your tool, because they're speaking, they're saying like in a very fluent English what they want, maybe you could derive the understanding from there. But in
Mhm.
general, it's really hard.
Yeah, but we need you just talk to people. People actually like giving feedback. They want you when you launch something, somehow you're going to get power users who really are rooting for you. They want you to succeed. They vocalize what's working, what's not. Listen to them, talk to them. They're there for you. I mean, people like to be part of people other people's success. So just talk to people. It really helps.
Yeah, for sure. Um, how is the market's role evolving with AI, and what skills are essential right now for a marketer?
I think an open mind, that's like the biggest skill that you need because things are changing really quickly. And there's like everybody's saying AI is not going to replace you. People using AI will, right? Um, I believe that, but I also believe that AI is going to take some of our jobs and it's going to create new jobs. And like with every revolution, we were going to need to invent ourselves, reinvent ourselves. And it starts from the inner you and how you reinvent yourself. Like when I started out, as I said, I was very against that digital revolution. I was very comfortable doing old school marketing, pen and paper, writing stuff, RFIs, RFQs. And when all these 16-year-olds around me started saying stuff like CPC, CPA, CPM, I was Googling, under the table because I didn't understand what they were saying. And I was very resistant to learning new things. So I joined the party very late, and it caused me, it could have damaged my career if I wouldn't have woken up when I did. And I think that we have a crazy opportunity now, not only in marketing and everything. And I think that our kids are very fortunate now because nobody knows what's going to be, a good profession in the future anymore. We can't force them to be, doctors or lawyers or accountants. We don't know, which jobs are going to be there in 5, 10 years and which aren't. So, it's a great time for our kids because they can actually pursue their passions, and we'll figure out as we go along, what the
Yeah.
future is going to hold. But having an open mind and trying new things, and it's the first time where such a crazy technology is available to everyone. Everyone can try it out. Everyone can play with it. Everyone can customize it. So just do it. I mean, it's not,
Yeah.
you can't screw it up, right? Just try.
Yeah. I think that most people, when they're thinking, especially in marketing and just things that are more technical in that sense, they think, okay, I will find a few new tools and I would get to know, the tools that are needed, and that's it. But when you're saying open minded, I think it's more than that. It's not only, yeah, I would know what are the AI tools for marketing, and instead of writing it myself, I would prompt something, and then I would have this like huge wonderful post
Yeah.
or a blog post, whatever, and everything would be just fine. And I think that this is something which is more substantial and much harder than just finding the tools, right?
I, I agree. Um, Especially because I mean, marketers in general, look at us over the past 2 decades, how many times we needed to reinvent ourselves. When we started out, and then came the mobile, right? So everything turned mobile, and then the social. And so we had to reinvent ourselves to that. Digital sort of took over everything we knew prior. And then when I finally figured out Facebook and Instagram, TikTok came in. Now I need to start learning everything from the get-go. So we need to reinvent ourselves all the time. It's just that this technology is making some people kind of uncomfortable because they're not sure where they start and the technology ends. But figure it out. I mean, work with the technology. It's here. It's going to be here for a while, probably forever. And it's going to change everything. So just, jump on the wagon.
And what is your feelings about the fact that much of the content right now, and even of it, like most of it in the future, would be created by AI?
Yeah.
Like what we're consuming is actually not written by this person who created the post or created this blog post or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we were in the content game, as I said, when we started out. It was before everybody even knew what GPT was. So we played the content game for a while. And when ChatGPT came about, we understood that the internet's going to be flooded with a lot of AI content. Content can be really good if it's accurate, if it's professional. It doesn't matter if it's been written by AI or not, as long as it's based on something real. So that's when the connection to the real world, and what are people actually looking for right now? What are the trending topics, good or bad, that your content actually needs to respond to? So, I mean, even Google, they changed their policy from, not allowing AI content to just not allowing spammy content, whether it's been written by a person or AI. I think that content has a very important role in building brand rapport and thought leadership positioning. And it doesn't matter if it's through email, blogs, articles, books, ebooks or whatnot, but you really need to have professional content that serves your brand, not just more and more and more and more content that's out of thin air.
Yeah, and what you're saying, this part is what is missing, not the fact that it's
Yeah.
the this way. And but when we're thinking about it, like as consumers, we're consuming more and more type of knowledge. It could be a video, it could be as you said, like a book. It doesn't matter, and that was initially maybe started or half manually written, but by someone, but most of it is done by AI. And in some cases it's really good content, and when you're just thinking about the images, for example, that's the first thing that comes to my mind when you're thinking about, in the past, in order to create these images, you need so much production and so many people working on something, and now you could just ask and you get this image.
Yeah.
But as you said, it's going to change so many positions and so many roles, so we have to really think about it again and again, saying like, yeah, we're consuming it and it looks much better in many cases.
I can
So
tell you that, for example, our UI UX is extremely proficient with Midjourney, and she loves using Midjourney. And you're thinking, wait, that's counterproductive, right? Because you want to amplify your very hard skills, not AI based designs. But she will be in much more demand than an UI UX person who doesn't use AI, because when you have the capability as a single professional to do the work of 3 or 4 people, you're going to be in higher demand. So I think that it's sort of, again, evening out the playing field. So if you want to be, if you want to have a future, massive career, you're going to have to be very good at what you do. And part of that is knowing how to work with the technologies available.
and what excites you most about the future of AI marketing?
The future in general. I mean, as I said, it's a very, I think it's the first time where, and my kid, my older kid, for example, she loves theater. She wants to be an actress. And when I was younger, people said, there's no money in theater. But now who
Yeah,
knows? We don't know. We don't know.
we don't
Maybe
know.
entertainment will be really valued in 10 years. We don't know.
We don't know.
And it's a beautiful time to be around, because you can pretty much be anything you want. I mean, I can code now. I have no experience coding, but I can do some of that. So it's just very exciting in general. And I think that for marketers, it can take away. I mean, I won't say we, but I, for example, suffer of imposter syndrome, right? Some of us do. And that's because a lot of what we do is trial and error. So we think it's a good idea. We cross our fingers that we executed correctly. We hope for the results, but it takes some time, and we're really wary about it. And I think that the future of AI can expand capabilities like that. So if I know marketing basics and I'm very good at a specific field, now I'm proficient in 5 different fields. So I'm getting better and better by the day, and my confidence rises, and I have the support of, and the great machines, and I'm much more productive. So I think that the future is exciting, and it's scary, like in every technological revolution. But let's just embrace it and see where it goes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have 4 kids, and the big ones are already big. They're like 20 and 18. And it's like they're in the world. Like it's like I cannot do anything. They're grown-ups. And me just thinking about what would be the world that they would grow from here on, and what would be their profession, and what they need to really know in order to succeed. And I think it puts us as parents in a very different position than in the past. Like in the past, you say, okay, go and learn that, and then you'll make money this way, and then you'll be, I know, in this, I know, you need this capability in order to be there. Like the path. It doesn't matter if it's good for your kids or not. That's another question. But you have a path in your mind. And right now, there are so many unknowns that you don't even know the path. You could say, okay, they need to know technology because we'll have more and more technologies. But is it really coding? Is it like being an entrepreneur? Is it just, I know, like talking to people and doing sales? I don't know. Maybe sales would not be needed. Like you don't know anything.
The only thing you can do is encourage them to be curious and open-minded, and they'll figure it out on their own.
Yeah, I guess that you're right. And I know, I feel that the capabilities of empathy and understanding people are going to be so needed.
Yeah.
And it's something that when I talk to my kids, and I've been like in this scene for like deeply in the last like so many years, especially in generative AI right now. And I always tell them, like, be a good person, be a good friend. And that's what you really need in life in general. And I think that even as a profession, you would need more of these skills in order to be successful in the future,
Yes.
because the knowledge part or the rational part is not strong enough to compete with AI. And they're going to do it, these machines are going to do it better and faster. But being human, being empathic, really understanding people, this is something that you really need.
That's a huge skill even prior to AI. I mean, not every in sales and customer success and doing business and raising money, if that empathy, that the feeling that people can trust you, that's a huge skill regardless of technology.
Yeah. And it gives me a feeling that in general, what I'm doing, like in this podcasting, what I'm creating, I always talk about technology and humans and people. And this is what's interesting for me, right? As you said, like for your clients, the value is this, and the technology is just allowing you to give this value. And the same goes like as a professional, you could know lots of things and you have lots of experience in something, but if you're not really listening to who you're talking to, it doesn't matter if it's a big organization or if you're a manager or if you're just giving service to someone, it doesn't matter. If you don't have this capacity, you would probably do it not as good. So
Exactly.
I think it's very, very similar in that sense. So we just need to understand what is needed
Yeah, being good
as a person.
people, being good people will never go out of need.
I hope.
So
Okay, so we're almost done. I have like two more questions, and like the last one would be your number one tip for leaders today.
Um, I actually heard Michael Eisenberg from Aleph in an event recently, and he said something that hit like incredible. He said something about optimism, and that optimism isn't just hoping for the best and waiting for the best to happen. It's hoping for the best and then working your ass off to make sure that it happens. And I think that, especially in times like this is exactly what needs to be done for entrepreneurs more than anything else. I mean, believe in yourself, believe that you're on the right path, listen, adapt, and work your ass off.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. It's been like a pleasure talking to you. And I felt like talking to a friend instead of like, it was
Me
lots of
too.
fun. By
Thank
the
you.
way, my best friend name is Naama. So it's like,
Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
sure. And where could people hear more about Market Team and contact you?
Yes. So marketeam.ai, that's market team with a single T. And you have all the contact details over there. We're very responsive and we love working with people and getting feedback.
Wow. Thank you, Nama, for your
Thank you
time.
so
It's
much.
been
I really
very,
appreciate it.
thank you. And to all of you change makers out there, thank you for joining us. I invite you to sign up to my online leadership program, Unlocking the Power of Generative AI, designed to equip leaders with the skills to build successful generative AI products. And I'll see you next week with another innovative, insightful talk. See ya.
Bye.